We are live. Hello. Welcome, everyone, to New Ambassadors Theater Company Lab 52, if you can believe it. I'm David Adam Gill. I'm the artistic director, and I am also hosting this evening. Just a few things before we start. We have three wonderful writers. We have Maura Kelly. Hi, Maura. We have Kendra Augustine. Hey, Kendra. And we have Jennifer Downs, who are all who know the process. They've been to the labs before, are very good writers. And then we have our cast of actors who have very generously given of their time and their talents. I just do want to shout out to our Madeline this evening is Epiphany Samuels. This is her first time doing a lab, so welcome, Epiphany. We are so excited to have you here, and we hope that you come back. So we have three pieces tonight that are diverse with diverse casting. If you know the process that we go with, we basically each playwright gets 25 minutes. They do a little intro to their scene. They will introduce their characters. I'm going to ask them if they have any particular questions up front that they'd like their audience to pay attention to. And then they will have their actors perform. Once that's done, we'll do a monitored feedback session. The people on Zoom, you come up and participate, and then everyone else, and even the people on Zoom, if you feel as though you can't, collect your thoughts right away, we do have a link that is for feedback, and people on YouTube who are watching, you can use the link for feedback, and that is the same questions that I'll be asking. They're listed on this feedback form, and then you can fill out the feedback form and do it at your leisure. But the questions are basically, what are the popcorn moments? What are the things that you liked in terms of phrases, imagery? What were the things that stuck with you, the positives? Second question is, was there any particular place where you dropped off? Did you lose interest? And then third is, within the context of the scene, was there something that you thought, oh, I want to see that further developed. I'd like to see where that goes. We don't answer or give any feedback with the phrases I would or you should. It's not about rewriting the playwright's work. It's about giving them constructive criticism, constructive feedback. So that said, that's what happens in the lab. We are a New Ambassadors Theater Company. We're a 501c3, not-for-profit theater, and we have been very busy over the last 2 years, and we're going to be busier in the coming months. With hopefully a live production. We do short play festivals, and the one coming up in February is Heartbroke. And we are right now trying to figure out how that's going to happen, and hopefully Omicron will not get in our way. We're also going to be, again, if Omicron doesn't get in our way, we're going to be doing one lab a month live at the Brazen Tavern, which is our homestead, our home bar upstairs. So we're going to be moving the labs to Wednesdays, and we'll do the second Wednesday of the month will be live at the Brazen Tavern, and the fourth Wednesday will be on Zoom for everyone who's out of town or who isn't able to make it. So that is what's coming up. I'll talk a little bit later about we have executive board for those who are in the company. We have executive board elections coming up. We have a full company meeting after the first lab on January 5th at the Brazen Tavern. We're going to send the information out for that. So just keep your ears pricked. And that's it. So we're going to start. And the order tonight is going to be The House by Maura Kelly, PAB by Kendra Augustine, and Radio, or working title Radio, by Jennifer Downs. So Maura, why don't you, first of all, is there anything specifically you'd like your audience to pay attention to look out for?
Yes. It's hard to do because it's only a few scenes, but there is sort of a surprise character that's going to make an appearance, and I'm thinking maybe I don't need it, or maybe I do. So that's the main question.
Okay, great. So there's a surprise character that is going to pop up. I think we'll all know who they are. And Maura wants to get some feedback as to whether that character is necessary or that that instance is
Or-
necessary,
yes.
I'm guessing. Right. All right.
All
So
right.
why don't you give us a little bit of feedback, introduce your cast, and then we'll go.
Sure. Okay. So this play is going to be 3 separate scenes, one sort of towards the beginning, one sort of in the middle, and one sort of towards the end. And it's about like an Irish American family. So basically the house is the house that they all grew up in. And the character who plays Jordan, which is Kat, she all of a sudden, her common law husband brought his girlfriend into their home, and so she is so upset she like left and she quit her job and she showed up on her mom's doorstep. Also at the same time, her brother is a priest, Father Dan, and Father Dan is arriving because he got suspended from the priesthood and we don't really know why. Also, her son, James, Mark Hoffmeyer is playing Father Dan, and James by Connor, there he is. He gets suspended from boarding school, and he comes home to find that his mother isn't there. So he hops on a bus and takes an Uber to grandma's house. So they're all there. Okay. And I think that's really all I'm going to say, because I think you can probably figure it out. So, and our most important person is our stage direction / surprise person, and he holds the whole thing together. So thank you. Goodbye.
Scene 2. The house is dark. Jordan is in her pajamas, disheveled with mismatching socks, sitting in the dark, laying on the couch playing her iPad. There are beeps and sounds that indicate that she is playing a game. A knock at the door. Jordan looks up, thinking she heard someone knock. She does not want to be seen. She freezes, tries not to move, then a knock again. She lays out straighter on the couch, thinking that she can disappear. Then the phone rings. Jordan looks at the phone and then the door. She is undecided and sits up quiet and slowly as possible. By the 3rd ring, she gets up and answers the phone.
Hello? Oh, Father Dan. I didn't hear you. I'll be right there.
Jordan goes to the door and opens it. Father Dan is standing in the doorway.
Jordan? Oh, I knew it wasn't Maeve's voice. Ha! I didn't know you'd be here.
Yes, I didn't know you'd be here either. It was a last-minute thing.
Oh.
Oh, gosh. Come in.
Where's Maeve?
Mom went shopping. She didn't think you'd be here yet. She wants to cook a big roast chicken dinner.
Oh, she doesn't need to do that.
Yeah, well, you know her. Once she decides something. Anyway, it's so good to see you.
Jordan hugs Father Dan awkwardly and kisses the air near his cheek. Then she looks down and out the door, noticing his numerous amounts of luggage.
Let me help you.
Jordan brings 3 very large pieces of rolling luggage in the door, plus some other duffel bags. It's quite a lot, and a winter coat.
The cab driver dumped it all on your doorstep. Can I help?
Please. I'm putting your stuff in the guest room.
She's walking back and forth.
You certainly have a lot of stuff, Father Dan. What's in this one? A dead body? I'm just kidding with you, Father Dan. You just have a lot of stuff. It looks like it's everything you own.
It is.
Oh. Can I get you coffee or something to eat? I know we have cheese and crackers and Cheerios.
Do you have tea?
Oh, sure. I should have figured you were a tea drinker because Mom is.
I used to drink coffee, but lately it's been bothering my stomach. The house looks different. Is it more cleaned up?
I'd say Mom's been working on clearing.
Jordan looks at the spot where her father's chair was.
I'm trying to figure out what is missing.
Daddy's chair.
Father Dan takes a seat on the couch and notices the iPad.
Are you playing Candy Crush?
Yeah, it's the biggest time waster. I remember years ago I was playing Words with Friends. At least I thought that I was using my brain more. I guess someone like you wouldn't play games.
I'm a big gamer.
You are?
Yeah, oh yeah. Bible Hero, Bible Trivia.
I didn't know they had Christian digital games.
Oh, not just Christian. There's Hebrew Hangman.
Uh-huh. How do you want your tea, milk or sugar?
Oh, no, plain. My favorite is Clash of Clans and Angry Birds.
Jordan brings over a cup of tea.
Yes, I definitely witnessed obsession with those two with my son, James. I think it's about time I take a shower. Mom should be home soon. Is there anything I can get you?
No, I'm okay, Jordan. No, thank you.
Jordan exits into the bathroom. Father Dan sits on the couch, takes a breath, puts his hands over his face, and then quietly sobs. Lights out. Scene 3. Next morning. It's probably about 8:30 in the a.m. Father Dan is sitting at the kitchen table or counter looking at his cell phone and reading the newspaper. Next to him is a cup of coffee. Jordan enters, groggy in sleep sweatpants.
Good morning. You're up early. Well, maybe not. You went to bed early. You must have been tired.
Oh, I must have been. I woke up at 3 a.m. in my knee-stained pants. Sorry about dinner.
Jordan walks to the refrigerator and pulls the milk out.
I made coffee.
I see. Thanks.
Your mother left a note.
Jordan reads.
Dear Father Dan, I decided to get an early start this morning and I went to church, then yoga, be back by 10:45. If you need a ride, Jordan can drive you to the 9 a.m. mass. Father Dan, it's 8:30. Do you want to go to church?
Don't rush.
It's okay. I can take you. I just...
No. I haven't seen you, Jordan, since
Since my dad's funeral.
That's right.
You did a good job at the sermon, leaving out the crazy stuff. Do you do a lot of funerals?
I've done my share. St. Barnaby's is a busy church.
Pause. Jordan gets up and goes to the refrigerator. Father Dan starts looking around the room/house.
Do you want some breakfast?
Nah, I'm okay.
Father Dan still walking around. Jordan looks at the spot where her father's chair was.
So I guess you might be wondering why I'm here.
No.
It's my husband. He's
Don't feel like you have to tell me. I'm not hearing confessions anymore.
This isn't a confession. I'm just going through hard times.
I think I'll go for a walk. I've got my cell phone this time.
Father Dan? Never mind.
Father Dan exits. Jordan sits, lost in thought with a melancholy feel. Lights shift, and a light appears on a now present chair with an older man sitting holding a scotch glass. Now don't go feeling sorry for yourself. Wasted your life on that jackass, and now I've got a bastard grandson.
Daddy.
Your friend Mary Catherine? Now she's a girl who's got her head on straight, respectable, successful.
I'm a teacher. I have a master's.
You're a teacher because you failed at everything else. The phone rings. Lights switch back. She goes to get her phone and looks at it.
Oh no.
She presses ignore, takes a deep breath, looks over at the invisible chair, hears the phone beep. She hits play, puts it on speakerphone. This is Principal Grotowski. This is the third message I've left. I need a response. Beep. Hello, Miss Mooney. This is Principal Grotowski again. I need confirmation. Please call me back. Beep. This is Principal Grotowski, Miss Mooney. We are trying to cover your sudden resignation in which you have left the 5th grade without a teacher. Are you sure you don't want to wait and turn it into a short leave of absence? Regardless, you have taken Ralphie, the class hamster. If he is not returned safely before the beginning of school day Monday, this will be cited as stealing of school property. I will have to get the police involved. If you decide to continue with your resignation, I have left some papers in the classroom you need to sign. Please leave your keys as well. Again, Miss Mooney, please return my call and confirm that you have received this message and are compliant.
Fuck.
Another scene later. Father Dan, unseen, is out on the front porch reading. James enters, calling out.
Grandma, Grandma.
James walks in, excited, looks around, then sees Father Dan carrying a Stephen King novel as he comes in from the front porch.
Father Dan, you're here.
Oh, I can't hear you.
Father Dan indicates his hearing aids and walks to the bedroom to put them on. James lugs his gigantic suitcase and throws it against the wall in the living room. Father Dan returns, hearing James as he starts opening cabinets.
Okay, now, what were you saying?
Where's Grandma?
Oh, at the store or something. Where's your mother?
She just dropped me off. She had to go meet with someone or something. I'm starving.
James starts eating popcorn. There is a large pot on the stove. He lifts the lid.
What's this?
Irish stew.
What makes it Irish?
The lady that made it.
Think she'll get mad if I eat some?
Well, she'll get mad at me because I let you. And she's all ready. James, she didn't like the pigs.
Oh, Grandma didn't like the pigs? No. What did she say?
Through this conversation, James then goes and gets his backpack, unzips it, and starts pulling out books and stacks them.
She asked me, why do you think the pigs were in the thrift shop in the first place? That's where people get rid of things.
Oh, yeah, thrift shop. Oh, that I didn't think.
Well, neither did I.
I was just so happy to see them.
Father Dan begins leafing through James's textbooks, not looking directly at James.
Yeah. Is this all your homework?
James begins taking off his shirt and then drops his pants.
It's suspension homework.
What's the suspension homework?
It's the homework you're supposed to do when you're suspended.
So you're going back, huh?
I guess. I mean, they gave me all the homework. I don't know.
Noticing James has no clothes on.
James!
I know. I should have done it, but I didn't want to bother if...
Father Dan gets up and looks out the front door for Maeve.
Put your pants on.
Father Dan is distressed. He doesn't want Maeve to come in and see him with a kid with no clothes on. James is looking for a pair of sweats in his bag.
I'm pulling on sweats.
You don't have a place to change?
I want to see if I can pick up a game of basketball before dinner. Hopefully they'll still be playing. They said they'll be there every afternoon after 4. What time is it?
3:30.
James now starts with the sneakers.
So, Grandma didn't like the pigs. Jeez.
Yep.
Do you think we should take them back?
I don't know. Maybe.
Well, Mom likes them.
James sighs loudly.
Something on your mind?
What?
Oh, you look like you got a heavy cross to bear.
Father Dan, what does that mean?
Okay. Well, Jesus was crucified, right? But before he was forced to carry his own cross to where he was crucified.
Yeah.
So think of what that was like, carrying a big, heavy cross for almost a mile after you've been beaten, whipped, and thirsty in the hot sun with people jeering at you. Pretty tough, right?
It sucks.
Yeah, it does. So when someone has a lot to worry about that's unpleasant, the saying goes, they have a cross to bear.
Just like Jesus.
Hmm?
My mom said my mom might have an even bigger cross to bear. She had a really hard day seeing my dad and all. On the ride home, her face was all blotchy. I tried not to stare at her, but I think she was crying. I'm so mad at him.
Your dad?
He wouldn't even look at my mom when we were in the meeting. Like, come on. I just wanted to tell the dean my father's an asshole. I'm so mad. Why did he do that to mom?
You know what I do when I'm mad? Shadowbox.
Shadowbox?
Father
Yeah.
Dan gets up and starts shadowboxing and bouncing around the room.
Yeah. Punch out your anger. Jab. Jab.
Father Dan.
Come on, get up. Get jumping. Weave side to side and then pow.
James punches and weaves. They both punch and yell, "Take that!"
Yeah, that's it. Get that aggression out. Jab, jab, uppercut, jab.
Father Dan does an uppercut. James repeats.
Try a hook.
Father Dan does a few hooks and James repeats.
Jab, 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 hook.
Can I kick?
Sure, there's no rules.
James starts doing fancy maneuvers. Father Dan gets winded and needs to sit down.
Oh, come on, Father Dan. Get that aggression out.
You get it out for me.
Father Dan sits. James starts punching and kicking around the whole room with Father Dan cheering him on. Then he kicks his foot through the wall of the kitchen island, falls down, and knocks over a vase.
Oh, Jesus. James, are you all right?
Holy, what am I going to do?
James starts to pick up the vase parts.
Oh, don't touch anything. You'll get cut.
James runs to the front door and looks out.
No one's home yet. Mom's going to kill me. That was Grandma's good vase.
Father is picking up the pieces.
I can fix.
I can fix this. Your grandma won't notice.
Really?
Yeah, she's old. Her eyes aren't good. Just need some glue.
I think I have some super glue in the drawer.
James runs and gets the super glue.
Yeah, perfect. I'll glue it together in my room later before she has time to miss it.
Father Dan carries the vase into his room. James is looking at the hole in the wall.
What am I going to do?
They both stand there for a bit, looking at the hole.
Let's bring your stuff, your suitcase, and
James starts gathering all the books in his large suitcase and shoves it up against the wall, blocking the hole. They look at it.
yeah, okay. That'll buy us some time. I think all it needs is a bit of patching.
Oh, God, poor Grandma. First we get her the pigs and then this.
We'll fix it. Hey, it's 4:00. Didn't you want to go play basketball?
No.
James, go have a good time.
Okay, Father Dan. Squirrel power.
Scene. Blackout. End of excerpt.
Right. Well done, guys. Let's have everyone up. So we're gonna start right away. We have a good amount of time left. So I'm just gonna repeat Maura's question about the surprise character, which I'm guessing is the ghost of Maeve's husband and Jordan's father.
I don't know if he's a ghost.
Oh.
He's just like a memory, or he's
Oh, a memory. Yeah. Okay.
Or-
A phantom, whatever.
But it's not necessarily like it's kind of, I'm not sure. Yeah. But
Okay.
his presence is there, even though his chair is not, like, he's dead.
Okay. So what did people think about that character? Is it what were your thoughts about the character? Let's just start with that. I liked it. I thought it was very interesting. I did have a question about who else does that character impact? Is it just Jordan, or is it spread out? Because apparently it's the chair that's the memory, right? That's where he sat.
Right.
Okay. And that you don't have to answer that, but
Okay.
that's the question I had. Chase.
Yeah, I really like when things aren't just alluded to, but we also get to see them. Like, it was a tangible for the audience, a tangible part of her trauma and like the things that really bug her and have stuck with her from her dad. So that's all. So I really liked that he was there because it was like not something that the audience had to paint a picture of themselves about. It was something that you painted yourself, and I liked how it turned out.
Great. Yes, Epiphany, you're on mute. There you go.
Yes. I wonder what else we can get out of the story if after the father's memory we see some more of Jordan, and like how does that impact her? We saw how it impacts her before, but like in real time, because you know how when you're thinking of something in the moment is one thing, but then after is a different moment. So I just wonder what that would be like, getting more time to see how that impacted Jordan.
That's a really good point. Yeah, thank you so much.
Wonderful. Any other comments? I did have a question. Oh, go ahead, Father Dan.
I was just going to say that it's great to see the person rather than in exposition sometimes learn about that person. So it's great to, and it could be a recurring character too. So I mean, I'm just saying that there's opportunity, I think, to have that mystery character further developed if should the playwright wish to do that, because it's great to have in person corroborate what other characters have said about.
And that's actually part of what my next question was, which had to do a little with, is who else does who else does the father or whatever, who else does he impact? And my question is, further than that, whose play is it? Because it seems like that's an important, like if it's Jordan's play, then how that it's Jordan's phantom or Jordan's memory or whatnot. But if it impacts Maeve, if it impacts Father Dan, if it impacts, his grandson, does that make sense?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Let's move on to what were our popcorn moments. What were the things that we liked, the things that stayed with us? Turns of phrases, imagery. What's in your head? Go ahead, Chase.
Yeah, so one of the popcorn moments was just sort of like every time Jordan's on stage. I don't want to necessarily say I resonated with this and call myself out, but I like her anxiety of having to interact with people every time another character enters. I really thought that was like, it was very clear, but it wasn't something that was said, if that makes sense. It was very clear in her actions and her trying to almost hide herself or fold herself over. And I just thought that was like a really beautiful like character trait that was so like nicely layered in, that she just tries her damnedest to not interact with people, or the people at least in this scene.
Jennifer just typed in a comment that kind of goes with that, where when she hears knock at the door, she like flattens herself on the couch. I had one that I loved, and I didn't notice this with Father Dan as much. Maybe you've rewritten it, but the awkwardness and the enigmatic energy of him. Like, we don't know really what's going on with him, but we know that there's something there that's just that is weird, and then he's so awkward as well. So I really liked how that was pervasive in this particular reading this time around.
Writing it down.
Kendra loved the shadow boxing moment.
Thanks.
It's really great. I think I'm just struck by the generational aspect of this play, where you've got somebody from like every generation and they're interacting, and it's just wonderful to see the differences and who connects, and that the boy connects with the older priest, and it's just kind of interesting to see disparate people like you wouldn't expect, and yet they have a connection, and or not.
That's I was working for this. I was kind of working on the relationships of Father Dan, and like that was kind of the point, like building those relationships more. So.
Anything else?
Yeah, I'd say any moment where Father Dan was actively connecting to other people was so interesting to me, because it feels like so natural the way that he falls into it, like saying like, oh, Candy Crush, yeah, what about these two games? I play those. And just he seems to just kind of fall into these very relatable moments with people, which I think is really interesting, especially if I remember correctly. Well, I don't know, because it wasn't in these pages, so I won't say anything about the other relationship, but it's interesting who he just is able to connect with really easily, and every moment where he just kind of like moves into the rhythm of a new person.
Yeah. Anyone else? I did have two other things quickly. The first was that development-wise, there's a real opportunity with this phantom character that just popped into my head, and maybe someone articulated it, but everyone's secrets, they don't, people have secrets, Father Dan has a secret, Jordan has a secret, James may have a secret. And for that character to be able to basically, while interacting with the other characters, give away that stuff so that it's done more organically instead of expositionally. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So I think there's a real opportunity there to utilize that character in very interesting ways, because everyone has a relationship to him, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The other thing was, do we know about Father Dan yet?
One person does.
Okay, but does the audience know?
No.
Okay, because
oh, they know a little. They know. Yeah, they do.
Okay, because one of your stage directions was that that Father Dan looks around because he doesn't want Maeve to see that he's with an undressed boy.
Right.
And I wasn't sure if he needed that, because does that give a? I mean, I know that we're not reading, but does it reveal?
It would, well, like, yeah, it would just show him being panicky. I think I put it in there because you guys, for the context.
Okay. All right, cool.
What I thought.
Just really well done, Maura Kelly.
Oh, well, thank you.
I've missed this play, and now it's back, and you actually submitted for a grant to
I don't know if I'll
get this done. So here's crossing fingers and hoping that that you get that grant.
That would be great.
Well done, and well done, actors. Thanks so much. You can take off the collar, Mark. All right, we're going to move on. We're going to move on to Kendra Augustine. Kendra, is there anything in particular you want your audience to pay attention to with regards to the reading up front?
No, it's just been performed before, but I've never heard anyone's opinion on it. So I just want to know what people think.
Is this one solid piece? Is it the beginning of something? It's a solid.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, wonderful. So why don't you give a little intro, introduce your cast, and we will enjoy it. Thank you.
Between a mother and daughter, there's a door involved. It's about 10 minutes, and hopefully there's humor in it that comes out. Actors, I'll let you introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Sandra Paris playing Julianne.
Hello.
Mom.
Hi, that's my mom. I'm Epiphany playing Madeline.
And I'm Kat, and I'll be reading the stage directions. PAB, a 10-minute play by Kendra Augustine. Madeline runs into a room and shuts the door behind her and locks it. She's in a state of high anxiety. Her mother, Julianne, runs after her, tries to open the door, but can't.
Mads, open the door.
No.
You can't lock me out of a room in a house I paid for.
I pay all the utility bills and buy the toilet paper.
Okay, hide the toilet paper, but unlock the door.
I don't want to see your face.
Well, in about 20 years, this is going to be your face. So I suggest you get used to looking at it.
Don't remind me of all the terrible things that are coming for me.
I will break the door down.
It's your house. Break it down for all I care.
Then have fun finding somewhere else to live.
Madeline slides down the door.
I'm sorry I didn't find your show funny. I mean, it's not that I didn't find it funny. It was funny.
You didn't laugh one bit.
I was laughing on the inside.
A comedian's nightmare.
Do you really need validation from your mother?
Such a stupid question.
Normally, I'd slap you for calling something your mother said stupid. But you're right. I'm sorry.
The only person on the world is supposed to coddle me, can't even bring herself to fake laugh, then I truly should just give up on what I'm doing.
How long have you wanted to be a comedian, though? Like 2 weeks?
Since I was 10.
You've never brought it up. You're just trying to make me feel bad.
No. When I was 10, I used to imitate characters from Saturday Night Live at school, and it got my classmates to laugh. For the first time, they weren't laughing at me. They were laughing with me.
I didn't know kids were laughing at you.
I didn't want you to know how pathetic I was, so I never told you.
I wouldn't have thought you were pathetic.
You used to say only losers didn't want to make friends.
I was just trying to get your dad to come to parties with me. He used to say he wasn't a people person or he didn't know how to get on with people. I didn't know you were listening.
I was. And I looked at him, and for the first time, I saw how lame he was, like how alone he was. And it was like looking at a crystal ball. I could see myself being like that when I was his age, and I was scared.
I wish you told me.
Then I would have to fess up and tell you I was eavesdropping, a bigger sin.
Why SNL, though?
Those actors were allowed to be anybody. And they made me laugh. And when I was laughing, I felt good about the world. Forgot about everything that made me sad and thought if they could make me feel this way by doing what they did, maybe I could make other people feel the same way by doing what they do. And maybe those kids would like me. And it worked. People started asking me to sit with them at lunch and to be their partners for projects. And I was even asked to dance by 2 boys. Promised one I'd go to the 8th grade prom with him. Promised the other homecoming dance. They both waited for me.
Impressive.
I know.
I never knew this side of you.
You told Dad that anybody who couldn't be themselves wasn't worth knowing.
My God, I just wanted him to get out of the house and fucking have some fun. I didn't know the things I told him would ruin your life.
They didn't ruin my life. I just
Internalized every condescending thing I said to your father and made them about you.
Oh, so now I'm selfish.
Stop taking my words and using them as knives to stab yourself with. I meant I'm a bully. And I bullied my husband and I bullied my kid without even knowing it.
He was a punk ass bitch.
Mads!
Only punk ass bitches leave their families behind. I stopped pursuing comedy because I didn't want to be a punk ass bitch who left you behind.
Should have.
Now that I know you don't find me funny, yeah, I should have.
I didn't laugh at your set because I was fucking jealous, okay?
What? Of me?
Yeah. I was like, this kid has balls. She's on stage saying things and actually getting some reactions from people.
Only got 2 laughs and 1 boo.
Oh, the boo was uncalled for. But those 2 laughs were earned. No one's ever laughed at a thing I said. And trust me, I've been trying to make jokes my whole life.
You wanted to be a comedian?
No, but I wanted to be Lucille Ball. Can you open the door now?
Not yet.
I just want to look at my kid while I'm opening up to her, okay?
And I just want to hear my mom opening up to me without worrying about ruining my life.
Julianne slides down the door to the ground.
I begged your dad to come party with me because I knew that no one would be interested in me on my own. I thought him being there would make me look less.
Better?
Yeah. Like you kids use your cell phones to look like you're talking to someone. I wanted your dad to be my human cell phone.
No wonder he left.
That's funny. Use that in your next set.
Oh, now she wants to tell me how to be funny.
You could use all the help you can get.
Okay, that burns.
That's probably why I could never get a laugh. I tried to be funny by making people feel bad.
Works for some comedians.
Not for people who just want to be liked.
You and I are a lot more similar than I thought.
Sad single ladies with no friends.
More like the desperate to be liked type. And I do have friends, just one I can't use as my emergency contact. You're the only emergency contact.
A bond like no other. Your dad found a woman like him. Now he can play my role in his new relationship. Punk ass bitch.
Come to my next show with me. We could be mother and daughter duo.
I don't actually want to be a comedian.
Neither do I.
Then what have we been talking about all this time?
How we're 2 lonely broads looking for a crowd to please.
Honey, I do not have the guts to fail publicly like you do.
So you admit what happened tonight was public failure?
No, sorry, no. I meant I don't have the guts to be vulnerable in front of strangers the way you do.
Good save.
I'm glad you didn't leave me when you could have.
I'm glad to.
But now that you've told me, I think you should.
I have to fail publicly a few more times before I can officially quit doing stand-up, but feeling alone is so lonely.
If I promise to do 1 set with you, 1, will you move out of my house so I can finally grow up?
Deal.
Madeline, without getting up, opens the door. The end.
Yay, that was wonderful. Kendra, that was wonderful. You guys did such a great job. Wow. Nice, very nice. So no questions other than the ones that we usually ask, and we're going to start. What are the popcorn moments? What are the things you liked in terms of phrases, imagery, the things that stayed with you? Miley.
I mean, I honestly think the whole thing is a bit of a popcorn moment, but I love the start of it. And I love just the back and forth balance of moms and daughters being so mean and sassy with each other. And yeah, I feel like the way they talk, it was really well written and accurate between a mom and daughter.
Was Chase, did you have something?
I did, but I think Kat had her hand raised first.
Oh, go ahead, Kat. Sorry. He's a gentleman.
No, she just literally had it first.
Like, if not, I would have been like, my turn. I actually, to kind of go off what Manny said, like the whole thing just felt like a popcorn moment. Like I loved the fact that it was so real. It felt so authentic. And with that, part of, I think, what built that authenticity was the fact that it jumped back and right, like that mother-daughter relationship where you're arguing, but you can still like, okay, we are making each other laugh. And that's like, I think a very authentic, like familiarity between mothers and daughters that has to be like super authentically written. And I think this script really kind of nailed that.
Good. Anyone else? Jennifer. Oh, you took off your.
Yeah,
I have something, but now it's Chase's turn.
All right, I'll sort of slide in here for a second, but it's basically just sort of piggybacking off of everything that's just been said already. But I love the little landmines that Madeline had during the conversation where Julianne would just step on them and she'd be like, "Oh, so you agree I'm not funny," or like, "Oh, like those were brilliant." But the way it was written, there's like sometimes you watch a piece and it's like, oh, it's comedy, and the piece like you feel the jokes, but it was still very sincere, and the characters were very genuine with each other, and for all intents and purposes it was sort of a dramatic situation, but it just was funny by nature. Like it was really genuine and sincere, but still funny. If that, I don't know if that is articulated well, but yes.
I definitely agree with everybody. A couple of popcorn moments for me. I don't know that I'm going to get the phrasing right, but you really need validation from your mother. Just like, I feel like that was such a good like click into how she sees herself in relation to her daughter. Because it is like a duh, but she doesn't see it that way. Also them sliding against the door, that was something, I just saw it so clearly in my mind. I liked it so much. Yeah, this is great.
I love doors. I think doors are very effective. I have a few popcorn moments that I hope I got them right, Kendra, and I apologize if I don't. In about 20 years, this is going to be your face. I love that. Do you really need to ask, need validation from your mother? Yes. Stop using my words like knives to stab yourself. And now that I know you don't find me funny, I will leave. I think that's how it went. So I love that. And then the good save. I like that too. Those are my popcorn moments. We still have some more time. Anything else? Let's go with Kat again.
I think I will actually give an actual popcorn moment this time instead of totally avoiding what David has instructed us to do. I really love now she wants to tell me how to be funny. Like that line to me was just one of those really hysterical zingers that she had.
Miley, go ahead.
Sorry, I was muted. Yes, I'm going to break the rules again because it's not a popcorn moment.
Are you in a spaceship?
For later.
Okay.
I wanted this last time and I got it for this time. Thank you, Laura. No, I just thought you so well articulated something that happens, I feel like, just across the board to families forever. And it's that parents or kids have these fundamental moments a lot of times with their trauma, things that stuck to you from your childhood, traumatic events. And in so many situations, the parents, it didn't even faze them as like something that was traumatic or a moment that they even thought would be a big deal. And I think this script really addresses that in a really fun way without getting too heavy. But I feel like everyone's had those conversations with their mom where you had this formative memory where you were like, oh yeah, that's one of the things that's caused me anxiety for 30 years. And then your parents just don't remember it at all, or it was something that was said behind a closed door that they didn't even think you heard. And so I think this script handles that in a really fun way.
And also, I just to add to that your parents are human.
Yes.
And that they're not these, they're not the albeit that, oh, here's Laura. I'm going to let her in. That they are flawed and that they don't understand everything, and that there is not a magical umbilical cord still connected, that they understand absolutely everything that you do, and that you don't understand everything that that they have their problems. And that's a growing up moment. And I loved when she said, so that I could grow up. But I thought to myself, Madeline just grew up quite a bit, understanding her mother a little bit more. Hi, Laura. Your timing is great. We have a few more moments with the previous piece.
Okay.
Anything else? Yeah. So I'm sorry, Epiphany. Go ahead.
Yes. When mom finally says punk ass bitch, because she knows she want to say it. She knows she do. She knows she likes when Maddie first says it, but she has to be like a little taken aback. But she knows she wants to say it. So I'm glad. I low-key wish she had said it a little bit more. I don't know. But I think also with that being said, I feel like both Julianne and Maddie, they can be played in so many different ways because it's just so genuine. I feel I've been felt like I've known these people. Yes, and what the more I read it, the more just keeps coming out. It's I didn't know why in the beginning it was titled PAB until this. I mean, I knew, but it really hit me this time when I really noticed that, okay, their relationship is hinged on another relationship, like the relationship with the father. Like, why are we hinging our lives on this one person? And this is how we're communicating, because this one person, when it's like that has nothing to do with us. And our problems does not have anything to do with this person, even though that this person kind of messed some stuff up. But we need to get our communication together. But yes, I'm finished.
Right. It's like that game Telephone. When there's someone in between, you're communicating to someone and they're doing the communicating to the other person, it's going to get distorted. Mm-hmm. We still have some more time. Another popcorn moment that I loved was that it ended not with a line, not with anything that anyone said, but a door opening. And it was symbolic, and it was beautiful, and it was physical, and I love that. I love that it just ended that way. It didn't need to be clarified by any sound or any language. Jennifer, go ahead.
Yeah, this is kind of building off of what Epiphany was talking about with how they structured their relationship. I really felt so much change in just this small conversation. It was so interestingly foreign to see something about like two women relating about wanting to be funny and liked. Like, it's so strange to me realizing now that I'm like, wow, I don't know how many times I've seen that conversation play out in plays and things, because it was so like the two of them just coming together as people like this fundamental desire to just want to be liked. And, you know, I've been trying to make jokes my whole life, and it's just a kind of human nature kind of thing. And that they were both coming to like a realization of their whole self without this other dominant relationship in their lives. It was just so, so beautiful. Yeah, it was like so funny, but so vulnerable at the same time. Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. Anyone else? So I'm actually, I don't want to ask the question about why did you drop out? It was very engaging. I don't, did anyone have a dropout moment? Okay. Oh, Chase.
I didn't have a dropout moment, but I just want to take the second to like ask this question. Is this just like a full circle piece? I don't know if I missed that, or is this like part of it is? Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Any particular thing that you saw within the scene itself that you thought, oh, I'd like to see how that goes if she developed that further. So the development question, would you like to see anything else develop further? Jennifer, go ahead.
I was curious a little bit about the discussions about Madeline leaving the house, and also like kind of what the change would be in terms of how Julianne would feel about that at the beginning versus at the end, once they've kind of had this realization moment and this kind of heart to heart. I feel like I there were definitely moments where I was tracking it and where I was understanding kind of like the larger stakes at play, the more like outside of this conversation stakes. But I'm curious about if that can be, I don't know, like hit a little harder, or not even, that's too prescriptive, but just tracking that through. I'm curious about how much has changed from the start to the end of the conversation. It feels like a lot. And even her saying like, you should go, you know, feels like a big change. Yeah. So just that through line, I'm really curious about.
Yeah, I had a similar thought about when I'm sorry, Senator Julian says, so that I could grow up. And I think that's the same thing in a way for me that Jennifer is talking about, that the growing up, the end result as opposed to what it was all along, and tracking that part of the story, because it's powerful. I mean, it's a resolution. They're trying to decide what to do and adjust their lives so that it can happen. So it might be interesting to explore that a little further. Does that make sense?
Are you saying that you don't know why mom said that line, so you're trying to like see where the seeds?
Yes. What prompted her to what is the backstory of why hasn't she grown up until this point? And then what does growing up entail moving forward? Go ahead, Jennifer.
Yeah, just to clarify on that, I feel like for me, it's really at the top. I'm so taken with the circumstance of what's going on that I feel like I'm not necessarily clicking in as much to their personality relationships to each other, because I'm so focused on like this very funny like situational comedy. So I think that's, yeah, so that by the end it's so beautiful and they've clearly gone through this journey. I feel like it just, for me, it felt like at the beginning I was really invested in the situation, and the relationship came a little bit further in, if that makes sense.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else? Actors, you did such a good job, and you really, I don't know, you were there. I really saw this very clearly, this piece, and I followed it emotionally. So congratulations, and congratulations, Kendra. They wouldn't have been able to do it had it not been on the page. Well done. I hope that was helpful.
Was
We
helpful.
have our actor who has traveled far but has come back to us. Laura is here, so we're going to do Jennifer Downs' scene right now. Jennifer, is there anything up front that you'd like to have us keep in mind as your audience? Oh, and hopefully people, Miley, I know that, yes, thank you. And you're putting in the feedback link as well? Thank you.
Yeah. But my biggest question. So I'm writing this like kind of as I go. So my biggest question is just whether or not it makes sense. If anything, this is a genre piece. This is a sci-fi genre. So if anything feels too heady or anything feels like, yeah, just disconnected, or if everything's making sense is really my biggest question. Yeah.
Cool. So making sense, too heady, just if we go on the ride.
Yeah.
Okay. So why don't you introduce your cast and a little bit about the piece. Well, you just talked about the piece, but whatever you want to add, and then we'll go.
Absolutely. So this is this is a screenplay, first of all. So Sandra Paris is going to be reading my screen descriptions, and thank you so much, because with a screenplay, it's obviously a lot of description. So this is about 10 pages in. They're on a spaceship. They're going on a mission. We don't know clearly what it is that they're going to do, but it's sort of, they're going to investigate something called the communication rim that has been an issue. So up until this moment, we've already met all of the characters here. There will be a couple other voices, but everyone is on the ship, so we've met them already. Chase Naylor will be playing Harper, who is the pilot. Miley Binion will be playing Varric, who is the researcher. Laura McLean will be playing Elcott, who is the captain. Connor Osman will be playing Sykes, who is the communications expert. And Kat Plazas will be playing Bryant, who is the medic. Other than immediately before this, Sykes was alone in his quarters, kind of fiddling with an old radio, and suddenly a voice came through it calling for help. And that's where we are right before this. So I'll let everyone take it away. Thank you.
Radio, working title, written by Jennifer Downs. Interior, Pythias Command Bridge, later. Elcott is holding the radio gently in her hands, her brows furrowed a bit as she listens to a now extremely animated Sykes.
I heard it was clear as day, Captain. There was a woman, a voice. She was asking for help.
Elcott's eyes skip over to Varric.
You were there for this?
Well, no.
Matt.
Jamie, I didn't hear anything. I'm not saying that you didn't. I'm saying that beyond my wholehearted support of your purported truth, I have no further data to add. Other than you seemed very freaked out.
Sykes turns back to Elcott, who puts her hand on his shoulder.
Sykes, listen, I know how difficult it is leaving Earth space for the first time. No one would blame you for having a reaction.
You think I'm making this up?
No, not particularly. But you were fiddling around with radio waves as we approached, well, as we approached something very much unknown, something that we are in fact on our way to get to know, sent to do so because of how this unknown something has been affecting communication waves. Do you see what I'm saying?
So you want to write it off as just another effect of the rim? Lump it like it's the fucking Bermuda Triangle?
All I'm saying is that I would appreciate a measure of professional distance here.
Sykes' jaw tenses, but he holds his tongue. Elcott sighs as she considers the radio again.
Look, I'm not writing anything off. All right, let's look into it. But as an aspect of our mission, we are here on the express purpose of an information collection within an extremely limited scope. We're not here to take on rescue missions or science experiments.
luck synthesizing data without experiments, Luddite.
Elcott steps close to Sykes, pressing the radio back into his hands.
Let's run it up the flagpole.
Off Sykes' unconvinced look, we cut to interior communication deck later. Sykes sits at the center of a highly complex series of monitors, each with a specialized output of data pinging continuously across its surface. Varick and Elcott stand behind him, listening intently to a central console.
And Officer Sykes, you were able to track the signal?
No, not exactly. I have a range.
A range.
Yes, with a 3% margin of error.
And is this range within the parameters of mission discovery?
Yes.
Varick loudly clears her throat.
Well, possibly, or rather within a rather larger margin of error.
Jamie.
Sykes moves closer to the console, lowering his voice.
Dad, I know what I heard. Someone needs our help.
Look, Jamie, I know you like to play hero, but now is not the time. You're on the company's dime out there, all right? You're not a Boy Scout. You're an officer on duty. Do your job.
Dad.
That's enough. I expect no further deviations, Captain Elcott.
Understood, sir.
Good. Godspeed to you all.
Click, then silence.
Classic James, am I right?
Jamie, head in his hands, chuckles wryly.
You are not wrong.
A long beat, Jamie takes a deep breath in and stands. He turns to face Elcott.
That's the end of that?
I'm afraid so.
Guess that's just what it's like in the life of a company man, huh?
I don't think they normally own the company, though, Junior.
Sykes smiles wanly and gives Varick the finger as she leaves. Elcott examines a monitor.
This is the signal?
As far as I can tell.
Well, what's the harm in tracking it as we fly by, right?
She smiles at him conspiratorially, then leaves. Sykes stares at the monitor for a moment, then looks down at the radio resting on his desktop. He takes the radio in his hands, nearly holding his breath as he waits a moment, then clicks it on. He waits and waits. Nothing, not even static. He lets out his breath in a huff and puts the radio back down, shaking his head as he exits the room. We stay with the radio, and after a moment, there's a crackle of static. Then another, then a long beat followed by a terrified scream. Interior, medbay, later. The scream continues to echo. Harper lays on the examination table with his eyes closed, headphones in. He seems entirely relaxed. Suddenly, a hand drops onto his shoulder, ending his reverie.
Jesus!
Brian jumps up as well, pulling his hand away.
Sorry, I didn't see the, you good?
Harper sits up with a sigh, turning to face Bryant.
Yeah, let's just get this over with.
Okay then.
Brian picks up a tablet, swiping a few times before settling on a page.
Officer Sam Harper, do you certify that you are of sound mind as of the beginning of this assessment?
Yes.
Do you cheat at cards?
It doesn't say that.
Oh, but I'm the one with the tablet.
You're about to be the one with the smack.
An aggressive patient?
Hey, don't put that down.
I won't. I promise. Okay. Have you experienced any mental disturbances in the past 14 days?
No.
Have you experienced any changes in your sleeping in the last 14 days?
No.
Have you experienced any intrusive thoughts?
No.
Bryant looks at Harper, concerned. He lowers the tablet.
Sam.
Look, nothing major, all right? You know that I'm perfectly fit for duty.
Yeah.
There's a noise just outside the door. They both turn to see Varric recovering her footing, clearly having been eavesdropping moments before. Harper immediately launches from the examination table, quickly covering the distance to Varric.
Well, if it isn't the corporate spy.
I'm not. I wasn't.
Look, kid, I don't know what sort of gold star you're looking to earn from daddy, but I can assure you that the company is fully informed, so you'll have to find your juicy gossip elsewhere.
I was just.
She holds her watch. Harper and Brian's watches light up in response.
15 minutes to communication room. Captain wants you on the bridge.
She turns to leave, then, unable to help herself.
You'll have to finish your crazy test later.
With that, she's gone. Harper angrily strides back to the table, grabbing his jacket and throwing it on.
Hey, don't let her get to you, Sam.
I'm fine.
All right, just let me know if anything changes, okay?
Yeah. Sure.
He leaves. Bryant looks after him for a moment, then back to the tablet in his hand. He pauses, then selects clear for duty. Interior, Pythias Command Bridge moments later. Harper steps through the doorway, immediately met with the sight of Varric leaned against the far wall, arms crossed.
Shouldn't you be torturing rats somewhere for your next cure-all?
Shouldn't you be torturing them for fun?
Without turning, Elcott loudly interrupts them both.
No bickering on my bridge. You are both professionals. Act like it. Harper, would you like to join me at the helm, or shall I start calling myself pilot?
With a final glare at Varric, Harper moves to his chair and quickly swivels himself into position. His demeanor immediately relaxes as he takes control.
Checks look good, Captain. All systems normal.
With a nod, Elcott clicks on the communicator in front of her.
Sykes?
Interior communication deck, same time. Sykes is back at his station, monitors dancing with rapid updates and flowing data.
Everything is batshit, Captain, as expected.
Any penetration beyond the rim yet?
Nothing. It's almost like reverberations.
Interior Pythias Command Bridge, same time.
Like an echo?
It's too hard to tell. There's too much data coming in at once. It'll take some sort of time for the system to sort through it.
Copy that.
With a sigh, she turns her attention to the expanse.
30 seconds from communication rim, Captain.
Doesn't look like anything, does it? I don't know what I was expecting, but I guess I thought there'd be something.
Base. Always a disappointment.
I'll take disappointing. The more boring, the better. Boring means we come home safe.
Aye, aye, Captain by the book.
That mouth of yours is going to get you in trouble one day, you know that?
Have a problem with mouthy women, Harper, or just women who are your superior?
You think you're my superior?
I thought you made it abundantly clear that you know full well I'm your superior.
Daddy's girl isn't actually a rank.
No, but indentured servant is a class, and one that's well below mine.
Harper is out of his chair in an instant.
What the fuck did you say to me?
Look, I'm not saying I'm a fan of the company's practices, but let's not pretend we don't all know what conscription means, all right?
Harper closes in on Varric.
You don't know a fucking thing about me, princess.
I know more about you than you know about yourself, you pedestrian. And you've just given me all the data I need to know you're an animal.
Hey!
Varric and Harper continue their standoff, each breathing heavily. Elcott strides to them, forcing herself into the middle.
Varric, that's enough. Harper, get back to your station now. Varric, go wherever the fuck you want that isn't here.
Hey, Captain, are you seeing this? It's like shimmering. Am I the only one that sees this?
Together, Varric, Harper, and Elcott turn to the window at the front of the ship. The view is essentially the same, but there's a shimmer now, almost a layer of iridescent color that is swiftly approaching as the ship continues forward.
What is that?
An alert chimes through the ship. Communication rim approaching in 3, 2, 1. End for now.
Well done. Chase, come on. She's obviously above you. She has a spaceship and all you have is a room.
Yeah.
Really well done. Gosh. Okay. The question at hand is, does it make sense? Is it too heady? My opinion is no. Dialogue is great. It's easy to follow. It's a lot of fun. And it's character driven, which I love. Chase is going to say something next.
Yeah, so 100% biased because I absolutely love this genre of sci-fi. So it didn't, to piggyback off of his simple no, it didn't feel too heady. It was very clear, sort of the goal that they were out here to complete some sort of mission that has a very defined scope, which already sets up a really interesting sort of jump rope for certain characters to see on which side they land on what is right, what are orders, what is reality in front of us. And the fact that it is sci-fi allows you to paint a reality of whatever. Absolutely loved it.
Anyone else? Yes, Brad.
I forgot those. Okay, yes. So, yes, I love the genre too. And so I might be a little bit biased, but I also love the ties that make it feel like it ties into the real world in ways like I love how it's a corporation, right? And so I just love how they can't go save someone. They're like, oh, fuck it. That's going to affect our numbers. And I just curse. But, this is like, it seems very accurate that it's this big corporation that has people who are indentured servants basically working for this company. So they wouldn't bother going off mission to save someone or anything. Thought it was a really interesting tie-in that, well, I know Star Trek's been doing it since like the 60s. So sci-fi's always had a nice relationship of tying and bringing things in to a sci-fi world and being able to address them in a fun, fantastical universe. And you're doing it again here, which I love.
Well, they are people, and there are relationships, and that makes it interesting. And it just happens to be that it is in outer space.
Yes.
Yeah, I did have a question, Jennifer. I wrote Varric and Sykes. Are they siblings? Because one's his dad. It's his dad, but then she's the daughter of the company owner. So that confused me a teeny bit.
Gotcha. So it's kind of said in an offhand insult in the first 10 pages that it's like daddy's little angel and step angel. So it's supposed to be like that's his son and this is his stepdaughter.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Yeah, I figured, but it was then, yes, it was great. And I loved it. Go ahead. Kat, did you have something? Oh, Mark, go ahead.
It's funny. Science fiction, a boardroom in a financial company, there's status, there's positional competition, there's positioning, same stuff. But when you've got relationship and you've got event, it doesn't matter. It could be science fiction, it could be any genre. But I thought, bravo. I'm not a big fan of that, but I find the real key for me is in science fiction is getting pulled in and sucked in where I forget what I'm watching. In other words, I'm not in the Twilight Zone. I'm in the reality of the piece that I'm watching, and I was, and that's a real credit to the writing and the acting. So you found a niche and filled it.
Anybody else? Yes, Laura.
Hi. Well, it's so much fun to be a part of something like this. I could feel the suspense building where they're talking about, the fact that there is a voice out there, the fact that, scientific experiments are, how we find answers, but it's the cause of conflict where, I'm the captain of the ship, Elcott is the captain of the ship and has to obey, the boss. But also, I feel that she recognizes that there are other aspects that they should be aware of, and perhaps, if they can, try to understand what's going on out there. And with the shimmering rim, I loved that aspect. I don't know what it's going to be, but I can only imagine perhaps it's another world. Perhaps they're going to be absorbed by a galaxy or something. That's so exciting. And for me, it just builds up this situation where they have no choice but to band together, I'm hoping, as they struggle to understand what's about to come upon them. That's what I got from it. And it's very exciting.
Great. Anybody else? Yes, Miley.
Are we on popcorn moments or are we still?
We can be on popcorn moments. I mean, I think those were popcorn moments, you know,
Yeah.
by default.
Yeah.
So
Sorry.
popcorn moment is that fight being the last thing leading up to the reveal of the shimmering. I think it's perfect. Like all hands on deck, full on the captain having to break up a fight. And then I pictured in my head the shimmering rim happening like as they were all fighting and them not seeing it at first and then only realizing it after the captain. I don't know. I don't remember exactly what the stage direction said, but for some reason that's immediately the image that popped in my head and I really enjoyed it.
Maura and then Chase and then Kat.
Oh yeah. I really like the crazy test. That is that what you're gonna say, Chase? Yeah, I just like found that so intriguing. Like I was like, oh okay. That's it. I just loved it.
Kat.
Oh, I think this time it was Chase who was supposed to go first.
Well, I thought Chase was going to say he liked the crazy test.
I did have two, David.
I'm very sorry, Chase.
Thank you,
so
Kat.
sorry.
Serve returned. No, I'm just joking. One was the crazy test, but specifically the question of intrusive thoughts. There's been a lot of awesome sci-fi horror that turns into a sort of psychological torment in space. That was super intriguing. Again, super biased because this genre is like one of my favorites. And then the second thing was the rim. Just like Laura said, that this rim is this unknown thing that everybody is interested in the ship. Obviously, it's the mission, but also this rim is like this unknown that we're gonna, as the audience, see the characters completely discover. And I think that's like when like watching a show is watching characters discover and react to something that is like genuinely completely new. And I think the rim and that one question of intrusive thoughts was really popcorn.
Okay. Who is next? Kat? Yes.
As also a total lover of like sci-fi and the fantasy realm that is like sci-fi adjacent. Love it. I also like, so a few things that came up for me. One, I love that ending sequence, the fight that we've talked about into the buildup. I think that's really great. Like I could see it in my mind. I could see like the argument and I could see like, it's not until it comes through the communications, right? That it's like, and turn and like, oh, but about the scene where he's doing the test, I like part of me was thinking like, why is Harper sitting here and not Sykes, right? And that got a question, that kind of popped a question into my brain, is that like, does Harper have to sit here because he is in this indentured servant role? Like, is that the statement? Because Sykes is the one who is hearing a voice no one else can hear, right? And so I'm like, that's really interesting. And then to me at least, and it kind of raised that question of like, are we gonna figure that out later on? Is that gonna come into play? And the other thing, and I just a thought, as Harper and Varric were arguing, I remember one of my thoughts was like, please, dear God, don't make this a cliche and have these two like fall in love by the end. I was like, oh, that'd be so bad. Like, let it just be, you know what I mean? Like, can we have like just normal, like Ross gender conflict that we can get to a good place that's not in bed with each other?
I had a few comments. Running up the flagpole, I love. I've always loved that because it just means, you know, yeah, whatever. We'll run up the flagpole. Don't worry about it. Something will happen. And then when he's being interrogated on the phone, and then he's like, Dad. I didn't remember the first part of this. So when the dad thing popped up and it became dad and son, I was like, oh my God, that was a popcorn moment for me. And then I just wanted to say that I really appreciated the dialogue. It was very clear. It was simple. It did what it needed to do. And just to, I'm not sure if I'm piggybacking on what people said, because I've always been in love with the genre, and I used to read the novels one after the other, the sci-fi, especially the God, what was it?
Ray Bradbury?
No, not Ray Bradbury. It was
Isaac
I'll tell you.
Asimov.
No,
Oh, Isaac
sorry,
Asimov.
no. You know, it's a no Heinlein. The
Oh,
one
yeah.
about Valentine Smith. What is it? That's what this reminds me of. He's the Martian. That's where Grokken came from. I'll remember it in a second. It's a great novel. It's probably one of the best. But I wanted to say that you can create any world that you want, but when you people it with characters that have conflict, that have to deal with one another, and it becomes something that we can all understand and connect to, then that's right. That's beautiful, and it works. It works. Someone Google Highline while we finish this up, because it's going to drive me crazy, and I have to keep going. Anything else, guys? Was there any place that you dropped off? Case.
It's not necessarily a drop off, but it's when Sykes is talking about this voice that they hear on the radio, this old radio, and then Elcott is justifying the skepticism of the voice. Elcott, she used in this reading, she used like we're headed towards something and we don't know what something is, and I wondered why she was being so coy to a member on the crew who is possibly already informed of the not only the mission that they're on, but the possibilities of the mission and the dangers and everything. So it wasn't a dropout, but it was just like I wonder why she's being so coy, and I don't know if that's explained later or not.
Okay.
That's a good point.
We can go just to
Follow up on that. I didn't get that vibe, just because my understanding of that line and that context was a little bit, and I don't know, right, what writer is going for, but was just that she's like, this is the mission. It's a discovery mission. We don't know what we're heading into, right? Like, and so I just kind of assumed mission of discovery, weird thing happening. So.
Yeah, she's no Hal, right? She doesn't know, but is not saying until they get there, and right? At least that's the point. And I do like the fact that it's blinders on. You know, this is the mission. We can't veer from it. But while we're passing it, you know, why not do a little research, because we'll be going by it anyway. I like the duplicity of when we have to do this, but I'm going to give you a wink and let's see what we come up with. I like that about it. I like that about
scientists.
Yeah.
Me too. I like that as well.
Anything else?
Yeah, well, this is just going on what you said, but I think that was one of the best humanizing moments for Elcott, because Elcott is so Barrick's even joking that Elcott's by the books. And so I loved that wink, because it made me empathize with Elcott a lot more and realize that, oh, okay, there might be a little heart there. She might have just been stuck in this corporate machine for too long.
Especially after she just said, I like boring. Boring means that we'll get home safe.
Yeah,
exactly.
Which is also, it's foreboding that, something unboring.
They're not. Yeah.
If I could pipe in on that too, actually, because I'm looking back here, and I think that Elcott has a lot of empathy, and I think that she cares about all of the crew, and I think that I'm looking back at that line, not particularly, but you were fiddling around with radio waves, and we approached something very much unknown. I don't know. I didn't get coy from that. I just got, it's pretty vague, but I think that Elcott's job is to stay cool and to make sure that she gets everybody home safely. She's kind of like, she is the mothership, forgive the pun. And that's what I got from it. I don't think that she's hiding anything. That was my take.
I think to clarify what I meant is just that, like, the rim is clearly something that's known, and that's been established that that's what we're heading for. So why doesn't she just say we're heading to the rim and it's something that's unknown, but she just calls it as something, but it gets established later that everybody, at least everybody on the crew, knows what the rim is.
Right, you're
So
right.
it seems, so maybe it's not the character being coy, but maybe like saving the revelation of this is the rim and this is like that unknown thing that this story is heading to, for later. However, in that moment when she's talking to a character that knows what it is established, why doesn't she say it is all I meant.
I see. Right. Okay.
Good point. Interesting. Okay, we are well done, Jennifer. That it's really a great piece. Well done, actors. Stranger in a Strange Land, Robert Heinlein, is one of the best novels you'll ever read.
Really?
And the term grokking, which was big in the 60s, is from this novel. You should read it. It's fantastic. It's about the first Martian. That is a wrap for the lab. Thank you, actors. Just really great work, and writers. I love the variety. I love the work. It was a lot of fun, and it was very compelling to watch everything, and to be a part of the feedback session, which is, again, Miley has put that in because I've neglected to mention it each time, but Miley is one step ahead of me, as always, in her fancy rocket ship, and she's putting the links in. So we're going to talk a little bit about new ambassadors coming up. If you want to, for those of you who are not on our mailing list, Miley's going to put up the link for the newsletter, and so is Mally in YouTube. Thank you, Mally. And this is a way for you to get information about what the company is doing, sign up for the doodle for acting, sign up for the doodle for writing, see what's coming up in terms of events and things that we're going to be doing in the upcoming weeks. It's bi-weekly, and Miley and I work very hard on it, and it's very informative, to say the least. We did the feedback link. We are a 501c3, and we rely heavily on the generosity of our friends and supporters and family, and whoever generally comes to see what we do, they like us. And so Miley's going to put up the link to donate on our website. You can write it all off again because we're not for profit, and it goes to create what we do best. Move from plays, get them on stage, and get actors working and theater artists doing their thing. And that's what we're committed to. And those of you who don't know, we are a playwright focused company that does new work all the time. And so we have a fantastic acting company who comes and does the labs, and they do our productions. Acting doodle for Lab 53. Miley is going to put that up, and it will be on the website. It'll be in the newsletter. If you want to come back and be considered to as an actor for Lab 53, which is on December 17th at 7:05. That is still a Friday. It's the last one of the year. Holy cow, 2021 just flew. It's going to be hosted by no other than Todd Butera. And it's going to feature the playwrights. Featured playwrights are Aaron Osgood, Ruthie Rado, and Gerard Stromer. So those are going to be the three playwrights. And if you want to be a part of that acting company, do sign up on the doodle. And then after next week, we're going to put up the doodle for playwrights for the first quarter of 2022. Again, second Wednesday, we're going to move to Wednesday. Second Wednesday is going to be at the Brazen Tavern upstairs where we used to have it. And then the fourth Wednesday, yes, it's going to be great. And we're going to make sure we're going to be COVID compliant. Don't worry, you're going to be safe with us. The fourth Wednesday will be like this. It'll be on Zoom, and we'll put it onto YouTube and make sure that everyone who is not in town is still able to participate in the labs. And that's it. That is a wrap for Lab 52, and 53 comes and goes in 2 weeks, and then we are on to a new year. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Epiphany, for joining us. I'm not sure if Connor's still here, but Connor, this is his second time, and he was wonderful. And Laura is a writer as well as an actor, and she flew somewhere today, got off the plane, got to her father's house, and then jumped online with us.
Sorry about the background. I couldn't get it working.
No, it looks very morphic. It looks like the rim is behind you. Don't worry about it.
I know. It's woo. I was happy to join. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And that's about it. We're going to say goodbye, everyone. Have a great weekend. Have a safe weekend. Be well, and keep an ear and an eye out for everything New Ambassadors coming up. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Good night.